Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to That is the sound of the 1st Brigade Band on our backyard patio today. They're back with us on Live at 4. They have a big concert coming up this weekend that we'll tell you about in just a little while. But thanks for joining us today. It's Friday!
Heard Bruno back there. We know what that means.
It's been quite a week, and I've been very grateful to have you here, so thank you for your help.
You can pay me later.
Okay. Mark will be back on Monday. And in addition to the band, here's what else is making news this Friday. We're learning a lot more today about the man who opened fire at a Middleton workplace earlier this week, Killy Arthur reports.
And the president challenging the woman accusing his Supreme Court nominee of sexual assault. Will have the very latest.
Also, we have dash cam video of Assembly candidate Sheila Stubbs being stopped by police while she was campaigning. She'll describe what happened to our Madeline O'Neill. Let's take a look outside today. A little blustery.
You could see on the patio with the band out there. The wind is picking up. We're heading for fall, right?
That's right. The weather words for today, summer blowing away. Dave Caulfield is out on the weather patio with the band.
Pick up an instrument and play a song.
Hi,
Oh, man, that would be no fun for anyone involved. Let me assure you of that. But I think that these instruments are welcoming in the new season tomorrow. But for today, it's a little bit of a seasonal switch a day early because it really does feel like fall. Outside, visible cloud track showing we've had some periods of clouds, but also some peaks of sunshine, especially this afternoon, but nothing on Doppler track to be worried about, I should say. And temperatures are going to stay cool this weekend, but we will see plenty of sunshine. That cold front well off to our east at the present time. Temperatures, look at these across the area in the mid-50s for central and northern Wisconsin. For southern Wisconsin in the low 60s, barely, just barely. Folks, remember in northern Illinois and central Illinois yesterday, we were in the 90s, and that is a big temperature drop from this time yesterday, about 25 to even close to 30 degrees in some spots. And with that wind, which has been gusting about 30 to 40 miles per hour, it actually may feel a little bit chillier than that. Here's a look at what is going on in Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. They have a little bit more sunshine, but for us in Madison, the clouds have kind of taken over, of course. As my gray suit comes out here, the gray skies have to follow. Temperatures falling through the 50s for tonight. We could be in store for one of the coolest nights and starts to tomorrow morning in more than 4 months. A live look at your First Alert traffic update. Here is our traffic camera on East Wash and 2nd Street. No major problems showing up there. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dayton County, but zooming in Friday on the Beltline, as we all know, we're going to start seeing those delays. From west to east, slow go on both sides of the Beltline closer to Fish Hatch and John Nolan Drive. Not looking too bad at Stoughton Road, but a few brake lights starting to pop up. Here is a look at your drive times. Verona Road to John Nolan eastbound, 9 minutes, average speed right around 30 miles per hour. Some other routes in and around Madison. Middleton to Sauk City, westbound on Highway 12. That's 19 minutes with an average speed of around 50 miles per hour. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll kind of have a recap of summer 2018 and talk about what the first couple of days of fall might bring to southern Wisconsin in your First Alert forecast.
All right, we'll see you in just a little bit. Thank you, Dave.
First, before we are learning the condition of the victims of this week's workplace shooting, that they are improving. 2 are now in good, 1 said to be in fair condition.
Authorities are also releasing new information today about the attack at a Middleton office building. Police say WTS Paradigm shooter Anthony Tong was found mentally unfit to carry a gun after an incident in 2004. And our Killy Arthur has been following that, and she joins us with the latest.
That's right. We are learning so much more about Anthony Tong, the shooter, today, including his very disturbing past. News 3 obtained court documents detailing a welfare check in Sioux Falls back in 2004, where Tong lived at the time. Tong's landlord called police after Tong disabled several smoke detectors. The documents describe Tong as, quote, acting very odd, holding a handgun and telling police the smoke detectors were used to eavesdrop on him. Officers then discovered more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition, along with an AR-15 rifle.
Based on that incident, Tong had his concealed carry permit revoked. And based upon that history, Tong was unable to legally purchase a firearm.
Following Wednesday's shooting at WTS Paradigm, police conducted a large investigation at Tong's home, finding hundreds of rounds of ammunition, ballistic vests, and numerous gun parts, including a gun building kit. The big question tonight, where did Tong get all of that, and who sold him the gun used in Wednesday's shooting? Well, coming up on News 3 at 5, we'll have a closer look at exactly what was uncovered in his home.
All right, we'll see you at 5. Thank you, Keely.
Thanks, Keely. A newborn and 2 infants were among 5 people stabbed this morning in New York City. It happened at an unlicensed daycare center in Queens. The victims, 2 girls and a boy, as well as 2 adults, are in critical but stable condition. 9 babies, along with some of their parents, were in that center during the attack. The suspect, a 52-year-old woman employed at the center, was taken to the hospital after trying to take her own life. She is now in custody.
The White House and Republicans say despite sexual assault accusations, it is time to move forward and vote on Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Mola Lenghi is at the White House with more.
The White House and Republicans are making it clear they expect Judge Brett Kavanaugh to be confirmed to the U.S. Supreme Court despite a decades-old sexual misconduct allegation against him.
And I believe with all my heart that very soon, Judge Brett Kavanaugh will be Justice Brett Kavanaugh, and he will take his seat on the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
Keep the faith. Don't get rattled by all of this. We're going to plow right through it and do our job.
President Trump called out Kavanaugh's accuser, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, in a series of tweets, questioning why she did not go to the authorities after the alleged incident. The president zeroing in on the accuser by name, saying if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says, charges would have been filed with local authorities by either her or her, quote, loving parents. Earlier this week, the president agreed with allowing a delay for Kavanaugh's accuser to be heard. Kavanaugh has denied the allegations repeatedly and says he wants a hearing as soon as possible. Blasey's attorneys sent specific terms to the Senate Judiciary Committee, which include testifying after Kavanaugh, questioning by senators only, not outside counsel, and a subpoena for reported witness Mark Judge. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley is still in negotiations with Blasey's lawyers over the terms of her potential testimony. Mola Lenghi, WISC News 3.
More than 70 women, all friends and former colleagues of Judge Brett Kavanaugh, held a news conference today. They voiced support for him while also agreeing that Christine Blasey Ford should be heard.
Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein is denying a report in the New York Times that he suggested last year that he secretly recorded the president in the White House to expose chaos in the administration. Rosenstein says the story is, quote, inaccurate and factually incorrect.
We have some breaking news at this hour in Madison. You're looking live here at a news conference in the Madison Mayor's office. Mayor Paul Soglin says a targeted effort is underway by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, in Madison. This is Madison Police Chief Mike Koval speaking right now. City officials say they believe 6 people have been arrested by ICE. The arrests based on a targeted list that ICE is using. Officials say they do not believe major raids are happening in the city, but we will continue to follow this story, and we'll bring you more tonight on News 3 at 5 and on channel3000.com.
A woman set to become the first African-American from Dane County elected to the Wisconsin State Assembly says she feels humiliated and is sharing her story today after police stopped her while she was campaigning. The
police report shows an officer was responding to a caller's tip about a suspicious vehicle, which turned out to be Stubbs and her family. Our Madeline O'Neill joins us in the news center with more. Maddie?
Susan and Eric, Sheila Stubbs is heading into the November election unopposed as the Democratic pick for Wisconsin's 77th district. She credits her primary win in August with plenty of door-to-door campaigning, which is what she was doing in a West Side neighborhood with her mother and daughter when she was stopped by police. You can see dash cam footage from Madison police. According to the police report, an officer was dispatched after a tip from a caller believing those in the car were waiting for drugs. Stubbs explained she was campaigning, but it was even harder to explain to her 8-year-old daughter what had happened.
You know, we were actually profiled. They target us. We're black. And people made it sure, they wanted it to be known, we were in the wrong place. We didn't belong there. But again, I said to my daughter, but we belong wherever we choose to go. And I said, this is why mommy is running for office.
Madison police say the officer did as she was trained to do and was just responding to the tip. Chief Koval explains they aren't able to vet all callers for potential bias before checking out the situation, but has apologized to Stubbs for what happened. We'll hear more from police coming up tonight at 5.
All right, Madeline O'Neill in our news center. Maddie, thank you.
Floodwaters from Hurricane Florence caused a dam to breach at a power plant in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's possible that coal ash from an adjacent dump is now flowing into the Cape Fear River. Coal ash is left over when coal is burned to generate electricity. It contains mercury, lead, arsenic, and other heavy metals. North Carolina's top environmental regulator said today the extent of the potential environmental harm is not yet known. Several communities are cleaning up after powerful winds, heavy rains, and at least 3 tornadoes tore through southern Minnesota last night. More than 70,000 people are without power and some schools are closed. Much of the damage was in small towns about 30 miles south of the Twin Cities. So far, no injuries have been reported.
Another record day on Wall Street. The Dow hit a new high, gaining another 86.5 points to close at 26,743.5 as concerns about global trade went out the window. The Nasdaq lost 41, the S&P down just 1. And they are still celebrating in Cleveland. The second longest winless streak in the NFL's modern era is now over. The Browns beat the New York Jets on Thursday night. And the hero, rookie quarterback Baker Mayfield, the #1 pick in the draft this year. He replaced the injured starting quarterback Tyrod Taylor, led the Browns on 4 scoring drives. The faithful partied for the first time since 2016, and as promised, Bud Light rewarded them with free drinks from a cooler that Budweiser had stocked and locked in refrigerators all around Cleveland. They deserved it.
See, never give up. Never give up.
I think it's been like 37 games without a win.
I know. Crazy. Well, coming up next, Strike Up the Band, a band whose tradition goes back 130 years.
The 1st Brigade Band, who they are and where you can hear them this weekend when Live at 4 continues. And we welcome the 1st Brigade Band to Live at 4. We heard them off the show. It's a great sound, isn't it?
Yeah, hi everybody, welcome back. Nice to see you again. They perform period brass music from the Civil War era. Spokesman Ray Lewick is the band's drum major, and John Condon is the band master. Welcome back to Live at 4, guys. Good to see you.
Great to see you guys.
Thank you very much for having us.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the 1st Brigade Band.
The band originated in Wisconsin in the 1860s, down in Broadhead, and enlisted as an organization in the Civil War on 2 different occasions. What we try to do is to collect and preserve both the instruments and the music of that band and the era that they evolved in. Every instrument in our organization is Civil War vintage. We have in our collection just an amazing set of instruments, including an instrument that we know made the March to the Sea with General Sherman. We've got a drum that was captured on the first day of Gettysburg. We've got an instrument that played the Lincoln-Douglas debates, which we're going to do a little bit of a recreation yet this year.
Has the band been in existence ever since, or when did the reenactment start?
About 1963, I believe we started up, and with the recreated band. And since then, it's been continuous, so.
That's pretty cool.
Is it different to play a Civil War era instrument than a traditional instrument? How so?
Yes. Well, the nice thing about it is all our brass instruments, we have a tendency to be a little spoiled because the fingerings are the same.
Okay.
Our woodwinds are entirely different. So if you play a flute or a clarinet or a piccolo, you're in trouble. You got to take about 3 months to get used to that fingering system. But the rest of us, each instrument is not made by a manufacturer that's the same, so every one you have to find a way to play that instrument. We call it shaking hands with the instrument. And then all of these different instruments have to be able to play together. So every one of our players has to adapt to that instrument and play along with the rest of us.
Well, I know you got a show coming up 2 o'clock on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Where is that?
First United Methodist Church, 203 Wisconsin Avenue. It's the Arts. Help me with that, Professor. Arts at First. Thank you for the First.
We want to give our audience a chance to hear these very unique sounds because we love
Thank you for coming, guys. Take it away.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. All set? 1, 2, ready, and.
Take a look at this. A young man is an inspiration after overcoming incredible adversity. This is 6-year-old Caden Kinkle sitting on a park bench in New Jersey, putting on his prosthetics all by himself. Caden was born with a congenital defect that caused some of his organs to develop outside of his body, and deformities eventually led to the amputation of both of his legs. But his mom is empowering him to be strong and independent, and you can see from this video, Caden is quite a fighter and continues to overcome the odds.
Great story, doing it all by himself.
What a guy. Boy, is that inspiring. Today is September 21st. It's National Tradesmen's Day, honoring the men and women who maintain the complex infrastructure of our roads, water systems, and power grids.
It's also National, how do you say it? Chai. As you can tell, I'm not a big tea drinker, but it celebrates the strong, satisfying tea that is brewed with ancient spices and ordered at cafes all across the country.
Would you
I'm just
like to
buying a
try
little
it
time.
since you've never tried it?
No, Dave's going to try it, and then he's going to let me know what he thinks.
Oh, no, I've had it before. My
It's-
wife's a huge fan.
Yeah, it's very good.
Not to throw you under the bus,
It's
but
a sweet,
I know what
spicy
it's about.
tea that you mix with hot milk. And sometimes it's, yeah, I
Here
think
you go,
you'll-
Dave.
Come on.
No.
Live
I'm not-
dangerously,
I've
Eric.
told you that. I'm not a coffee drinker or a tea drinker. I don't drink either one.
It's good.
Yeah,
You like
it's
it?
good.
Yeah, it reminds me of the holidays. I don't know. I
Yeah.
drink it a little bit more around that time. And it's also National Pecan? Pecan?
We say pecan.
Right.
Pecan?
What do you
All
say?
right.
Pecan?
I say pecan.
Pecan Cookie Day. Pecan is an Algonquin word meaning hard to pronounce. No, it means a nut requiring
There
a
you go.
stone to crack. A member of the hickory family, the pecan is native to central and southern parts of the United States.
Here you
Have
go.
a pecan. cookie.
All right.
Little cookie, little chai, perfect for a fall
For a nice
Friday.
fall day as
Yeah.
the temperature starts to head south, literally.
Yeah, temperatures are really getting. Why do I always do this to myself? I don't know. Sorry, folks. Excuse my manners, but temperatures are going to be cool
Keep
this
talking, Dave.
weekend. We'll talk a little bit more about the entire weather forecast as we head into fall in your first alert forecast. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a great Friday so far. More of a fall Friday than a summer Friday, even though this is the last full day of summer. Now, as far as September precipitation goes, we did see a little bit of rain as that cold front came through this morning. More of a wind thing more than a rain thing in some spots, but we actually have received rain, at least in some capacity, every day of the work week. The weekend, though, should remain dry, if not a little bit on the cool side as we transition into fall. Doppler track showing clear skies as far as radar is concerned across much of the upper Midwest. That cold front well off to the south and east, and we're dealing with not much in the way of precipitation over the next couple of days. Clearing skies overall tonight. So for any Friday night football festivities, kickoff temperature around 57 degrees. We'll drop into the lower 50s by the time we get to the fourth quarter. But that wind's still a little bit gusty at times, so you'd be forgiven for wearing maybe a hooded sweatshirt or some type of outerwear to the game. Maybe even a blanket, not out of the question. Maybe it's just me stepping outside today. It really does feel a little bit cooler than the thermometer is suggesting. Right now it's 60 in Madison, 66 in Janesville, 58 in the Dells, and 56 in Viroqua. Dew points very comfortable. I don't think we need to worry about dew points for quite some time, which is pretty interesting when you consider just how humid a lot of this summer has been. Wind speeds, they're still kicking, folks, out of the north and west at about 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusting over the last 24 hours about 35 to 45 miles per hour. So this is the last full day of summer, so let's do a quick recap. So for June, we were a little bit above average in precipitation land, and we did have temperatures in the mid-90s at times. For July, we were below average for precipitation, still some 90s. We did have some warm stretches this summer, but really nothing too crazy, nothing that we're really going to remember for quite some time. We're definitely going to remember the precipitation in August, though, with all the rain at the end of the month and temperatures staying in the upper 80s for the most extreme amounts. So downtown Madison looking pretty cloudy right now. Also some peaks of sunshine today. The high of 80, very misleading, folks. That happened well into early this morning. We really haven't gotten above the mid 60s for afternoon temperatures. And normal is 70 for this time of year. 60 right now, north-northwest wind at 16 miles per hour, gusting to about 30 miles per hour at times. So the first day of fall is tomorrow, the autumnal equinox, if you will, 8:54 p.m. to be exact. Normal high is in the upper 60s, normal low is the upper 40s, and some of us are actually seeing a little bit of fall color, not for southern Wisconsin, mind you, but closer to Superior. We're about halfway there, and we're not just living on a prayer in that situation. We are looking at most of the major cities still at about 0 to 20% change with those leaves, but as temperatures start to dip a little bit, and remember, that's a big thing when it comes to those leaves changing colors. Once the temperatures start to dip pretty consistently and the daylight starts to go down, we start to see those really nice colors. And temperatures are dipping, especially into the middle of next week, but on Sunday and Monday, still highs are going to be in the 70s. For tonight, temps dropping to near 40 degrees, becoming mostly clear and much cooler. If we do hit 40 in Madison, that will be the first time in 133 days that Madison sees a low temperature of 40 or below. For tomorrow, we're still in the mid 60s, so getting pretty cool tonight, and that is an understatement. Some of us could start off early Saturday morning in the upper 30s, so whew, definitely getting a little bit chilly outside. We'll be in the mid 60s on Saturday with a few clouds, but plenty of sunshine and more sunshine on the way on Sunday with highs a little bit closer to 70 degrees. So let's take a quick look at your 7-day forecast, where we're noticing some showers possible on Tuesday and also on Thursday. Can't rule out a quick thunderstorm as well on Thursday. And we're getting into the type of pattern that we typically start to see in early fall, where if we get those rain systems, and we will from time to time, it's just a matter of time, where these rain systems drop a little bit of rain and then get out of here. So that's good news for areas still dealing with a lot of flooding, whether it's river flooding or flash flooding. And we can start to kind of calm things down in the weather department going forward.
Did you say halfway there on the leaf
Yeah, I mean, some
Living on a
John
prayer.
Bovey there.
Yeah, Jersey guy, right?
Exactly.
Jersey guy.
Eric got it.
Yeah, we got it. I'm
Thank you,
slow, but
Dave.
I got it.
You mentioned Friday football, and it does look really good tonight for the Prep Mania High School Football Game of the Week.
Sun Prairie tonight. The Cardinals hosting La Follette. Al Minert, Bill Brophy, Jay Wilson will have the call. That game live on TVW live stream. Channel3000.com, 7 o'clock tonight, live from Sun Prairie.
The man who created the hit NBC series This Is Us tries to recreate that magic in a new film.
We'll hear from him and the star of his new film, Life Itself. That's when Live at 4 continues. Boy, we've had so many of those beautiful sunsets and water shimmering with sunlight. Not today. The clouds moving in. A little chilly, as Dave mentioned, as we take a live look along the waterfront. The creator of the TV hit This Is Us is headed to theaters this week with a new drama starring Olivia Wilde and Oscar Isaac.
Rick Damigella has a preview of Life Itself, which opens today.
I'm waiting for the right moment, because when I ask you out, it's going to be the most important moment of my life. And I just want to make sure that I get it right.
Olivia Wilde and Oscar Isaac are a young couple at the center of the drama Life Itself.
I may not be equipped to be loved this much.
My character, Abby, is someone with an enormous amount of strength. She has been dealt a pretty difficult hand in life, and yet she finds love. And her kind of journey is discovering that she's worthy of that love. And I really admire that. I think a lot of people are walking around not sure if they're worthy of love. And it really moved me to see that you can overcome that and realize you deserve it, and then live your happiest life.
Writer-director Dan Fogelman's views on life are reflected in the film.
The movie doesn't pull punches. In places it's very sad and very difficult and very challenging. I think life is. I think the world is right now. And so the idea is that, life is difficult. Our existences can be difficult. My point of view is that people don't wake up every day trying to be a terrible person. I think people wake up trying to do the best they can. We usually fail. We're mad at ourselves, and then we wake up the next day and try and do it again. And so there's a positive message to the movie despite the difficulty that's going on in the world right now.
It's so strange how a completely random moment that happened way before I was born would shape my entire life.
Are you glad it happened?
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
And there is more at 4. We'll go backstage with Michael Bruno for the production of Southern Baptist Sissies.
It's the story of 4 church boys trying to find their place in life. We'll go backstage with Bruno when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at Park Street and the Beltline. We do see some slow go in both directions, and as you might expect, a Friday afternoon on the Beltline, you're going to run into those delays. Average speeds right now in the midsection of the Beltline about 15 to 30 miles per hour. And as we take a look at some drive times, eastbound Verona Road, John Nolan up to 12 minutes now, an average speed of around 20 miles per hour. in the other direction, pretty similar story, so a little bit slow in that same stretch. Westbound 6 minutes with an average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And that is your First Alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. It is a story that follows the journey of 4 gay boys in the Southern Baptist Church as they try to create a world of love and acceptance in the churches and clubs of Dallas, Texas.
We go backstage with Michael Bruno to Stage Q production of Southern Baptist Sissies at the Bartell Theater.
When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound and time shall be no more.
This is the story of 4 boys growing up in the Southern Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas, coming to terms with their sexuality in a conservative religious setting. Some of it not so good. Each of the 4 boys reacts differently to the realization that he is gay.
Because there's only one way to the promised land.
It's kind of a retrospective, so the boys are in their mid-20s, but they start playing their childhood selves as we go and progress throughout the show, from their childhood to innocent discoveries of their like of other boys, to experimentation, to either the rejection of themselves because they're too scared to anger their God or their idea of God and leave their church, or their embrace of it.
Eternal damnation in the burning lake of fire. Well, there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth forever, for eternity.
That is so long.
One who is our narrator, tries to seek change and try to find and create a better world.
Oh, please do, because I don't think we got it the first 100 times.
God gives us freedom of choice.
Wow.
So Mark Lee Fuller is in the process of trying to move on and recover from things that he went through growing up, being in a really religious background that doesn't embrace who he is.
I was born in Dallas, Texas, the buckle of the Bible Belt. Here at Calvary Baptist Church, my daddy was a deacon.
One boy embraces who he is and escapes into a world of drag.
He knows who he is, and he's going to be his true self to the T his entire life.
Come to Jesus!
I want to accept Jesus as my personal Savior.
Oh, amen!
Another boy fights it and buries it deep.
When he starts realizing that he has these feelings and he thinks he might be gay, the world starts to kind of fall apart around him. He gets really scared.
I knew that I needed to live my life for Jesus. And I didn't want to go to hell. Did not want to burn in a lake of fire.
And one just tries to desperately hold on to hope.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
It's billed as a comedy on the back of the book, and it is very, very funny, but it has those moments that definitely tug at the heartstrings. And the way that it's written and the way that it's performed, in my opinion, really pull people apart as they're watching it. You have all of these moments where there are so many moving parts, but they all kind of come together to form a really, really nice picture for the audience to see.
Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
And Michael is with us now. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
It's your birthday week. We gave you the shout out the other day.
Yes, you did.
Hope
Thank
you had
you
a great
so
week.
much. I had a very nice week.
It's good to see you.
So who wrote this show?
Del Shores wrote it. He also has done Sordid Lives, which was the first movie that he did, but the 2 productions were actually stage productions. And my friend Leslie Jordan, who is starred in both these stage plays and the movies, was one of the central characters in both these shows. For mature audiences only, but it's really, really a wonderfully written play. And it really does the subject matter of these 4 boys, and it follows their life and how they come to terms with them being gay and how they kind of juggle their faith and coming out of the closet and becoming
kind of a powerful message.
Yes, it is a very powerful message, and how they come to terms with that, and how they and their parents and their other schoolmates and classmates and the other people that are in the Bible studies with them.
Is it singing a la Book of Mormon, or is it just
No,
a dramatic?
it's not a musical. They
Okay.
have some hymns that they do sing, but it's not really a musical. There are some organ and some musical moments in the show, but it's not a musical like Book of Mormon. But they do look like the Book of Mormon boys.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah. So when is the show?
It is tonight and tomorrow, but I hear that tonight is selling out rather quickly, and then it's tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Well, there it is right there at the Bartow Theater. And coming up next week, you're going to some uncharted territory,
Yes,
right?
we're actually going to Beloit. We're going to Beloit to see You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Oh, that's a great show. That's a classic,
awesome.
yeah. All right, Michael, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Good to see you. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, Dave's back.
Yeah, we have a chilly night ahead of us tonight, but really a textbook night for Friday Night Football and all those festivities outside. Live look in Madison. We've seen some peaks of sunshine, and I think the clouds will be on the decrease this evening. Temperatures right now in the 50s and low 60s. But those wind gusts, they're still kicking out of the north and west at about 25 to 35 miles per hour, at least as far as the gusts are concerned. So for Friday Night Football, kickoff temperature around 57 degrees, clearing skies and cool by the fourth quarter. I think we'll be in the low 50s. By later tonight, though, becoming mostly clear and much cooler. If we do hit 40 degrees, it will be the first time that we hit 40 degrees at night in more than 4 months. So definitely looking like a pretty chilly night ahead of us. And then into next week as we start October pretty soon, could be looking at some patchy frost moving in.
Hey, kill those mosquitoes.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the
There
plan.
we
Get
go.
them out of here
The
for
cup
sure.
half full. Dave, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Dave.
Well, Henry Vilas Zoo announced the arrival of a new male polar bear to join Barrett. We've been watching Barrett swim alone all summer in the Arctic Passage. The new 22-month-old polar bear. There's a
Barrett.
live look at Barrett. The
Aw.
picture was Nunique, right? The new one?
Right.
That was Nunique, who arrived to Madison, the son of Nanook, a polar bear who lived actually at the Henry Vilas Zoo for 2 decades. So Barrett, be patient. We're sending you a boyfriend. All right.
That's exciting. Here's what's coming up Monday on Live at 4. The doctor is in. Dr. Zorba Pastor will take your medical questions.
And Will Loper checks out the new drama that we spoke about earlier in this show, Life Itself. Our canine correspondents Lola and intern Louie have had another busy week without Mark, compiling the best animal stories of the week.
Here is this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown. This week on the Lowdown, Greektown becomes covered in spider webs.
An animal rescue shaves pounds of fur off a neglected dog.
And an incredible video of a deep sea discovery.
We'll start with a baby rhino that is wowing zoogoers in Israel. It was the 5th calf born to Tanda, a 25-year-old southern white rhino. The countdown started when a year and a half ago, zookeepers noted Tanda mating with Atari, a male rhino at the zoo. Rhinoceros pregnancies usually last 15 to 18 months. At this stage, the baby rhino has no horn, but it will start to grow one in the coming weeks.
Lola has a warning to viewers that aren't fans of spiders. These images of a town in Greece covered in spider webs is simply amazing. Everything from street signs to trees are draped in spider webs. The balmy weather there creates ideal conditions for spiders to multiply. Basically, hot weather equals more gnats, which equals more spiders. Local officials say they expect as the temperatures begin to drop, so will the number of spiders.
Speaking of bizarre sights, there's more than meets the eye to this deep-sea creature. It was caught on camera in the Pacific by an underwater exploration crew. It's called a gulper eel, and it has a very unique ability to change its shape, inflating its body to intimidate predators. Its jaws are also much bigger than its body and can be unhinged to swallow large prey.
And what a difference a haircut can make. This is Jareth. He was recently surrendered from a California home where he was severely neglected. When he arrived at Friends Valley Animal Center, he had nearly 2 pounds of matted fur.
It was really heavy.